This book may well challenge more or less everything the listener thought about the idea of the West. It will certainly surprise those who thought that it always existed, or at least existed from Plato to NATO. But it will meanwhile challenge the assumptions of those who thought that it must have emerged after World War II with the onset of the Cold War. It will also surprise those with more specialist knowledge, who have read in the extant scholarly literature, that the idea of the West emerged in the West in the 1890s or thereabouts. It will most certainly give second thoughts to those who assumed that the idea of the West emerged in juxtaposition to Asia or Islam. It will also present a challenge to those who thought, and have been told routinely in the academic literature, that the idea of the West arose to cater to the needs of high imperialism. Such listeners will certainly be intrigued to read of the extent to which the first explicit and thorough articulation of the idea of the West emerged as part of a staunchly anti-imperialist theory and political program. Similar surprises await those who take for granted that the idea of the West inherently involves adherence to liberal democracy, rights, individualism, and the like. The book will also take issue with the impressions of those who take for granted that the idea of the West had Anglo-America at its core, and is simply an extension of the so-called Anglosphere. As T.S. Eliot put it, the West is a subject about which everyone thinks he has something to say. And this book is likely not to conform to existing preconceptions about what constitutes it. It is not a history of the West, but rather a history of what many different people have understood the West to be. That is, however, an important history.